In today's class, we are going to study regarding the rate analysis or analysis of rates, right? So what happens is that generally, for example, I will take an example of one mobile. For example, what happens is that if you want to purchase any mobile, right, there are certain rates like it is 15,000 or 20,000, right? If you see that rates and all, so it is inclusive of what you can say all the material charges, all the labor charges, transportation charges. So for one unit, it will cost you around 15,000 or 20,000, right? So that is the unit rate of an item. Of one mobile rate is 15,000, for example. Similarly, what we do is that in the construction also there are many different items of work which has to be done. So what we do is that for that particular item, what is the unit rate that we are going to calculate? That we are going to calculate, right? So therefore, the determination of rate per unit of a particular item of work from the cost of quantities of material, that is material rates, as well as the cost of labors, that is the labor rates, and other miscellaneous petty items. So sometimes what happens is that some charges we cannot calculate, so we add up something like staging we have, some petty items we have. So for that purpose, what we do, we are going to add certain lump sum amount, right? So as to complete that work, right? So the labor rates, material rates, as well as the miscellaneous petty items rate we are going to add, so that so as to complete the work, that is known as analysis of rates or rate analysis. So above these rates, what we do, we are going to usually add 10% of contractor's profit. 10% of contractor's profit. Why? Because contractor also requires certain money, right? So he'll be doing work means he requires certain money. So 10% extra we are going to add as a contractor's profit. Then next is the rate of materials what we are going to charge. It is inclusive of the material that is delivered to the site of work, which is like the cost of transportation, taxes, etc. Everything. The rates what you are going to charge, it is inclusive of all those things. Right? So again extra you cannot add. Right? So generally what happens is that rate analysis is being divided in two heads. Generally, if you see, the rate analysis is being divided into two heads. Right? One is material and one is labor. One is material and one is labor. So what we do is, so we try to calculate what all materials are required so as to complete that work. Right? So if you want to prepare a rate analysis, what you require is, you should require, like for example, if you are concreting or if you are casting any slab, for example, so as to cast that slab, so like you should know how the work is being done and what all materials are required. For example, I am going to take concrete now. So as to prepare a concrete, what all items are required, that you should know. Like for concrete, I require cement, sand, aggregate, water. Right? Similarly, any item of work you take, so how that work is being done and what all different materials are being used. So that you should know. And based on that, you can prepare the rate analysis. Then it is being divided into two heads. One is material as well as one is labor. So we are going to calculate material rates separately. Then next, what all different types of labors are required, like skilled how many numbers, unskilled how many numbers labors are required, that you should know. Right? So we are going to calculate labor rate. One is we calculate material rate. One is we are going to calculate labor rates. Then next, there are certain petty items, extra items. For that, sometimes what happens is that some tools and plants are required. Some tools or machineries are required. So for that, what we do, we are going to add extra, right? So for that, we are going to add some lump sum amount, right? So then next, what happens is that above this, what we do is sometimes, for example, if you want to prepare a concrete, we are going to charge like 1.5 to 2% extra as 1.5 to 2% charge as a water charges and 10% as a contractor's profit. So when we are going to sum up all these things, so then we are going to arrive at the rate of the particular item. In this, what happens is that rate analysis of any item of work is being done. So till now what I have said, like everything is clear. I am audible, and you don't have any problems with the videos at all. Anyone that you can tell?
No, sir.
No problems, right? So further I will continue. Right? So next is the factors affecting the rate analysis. So what happens is that what are different factors we have, right? One is the specification of different items of works and materials. Then next is quality of materials. For example, now I gave you an example of mobile, right? So your mobiles, different mobiles have different specifications. Based on that specification, what happens is that rates they are varying. Similarly, here also what we do, or here also what happens is that the rates they are going to vary. If you take mobile example, right? If you take the space or hard disk what we have like for 32 GB, 64 GB, 128 GB, your rates they are varying. Similarly, if you take any RAM, 2 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM, 6 GB, 8 GB. So based on the RAM, what happens that the rates they are varying. We have different camera specifications. Right? As the specification of that mobile is varying, cost and all it is becoming higher and higher, or it is going to vary. Similarly, here also what happens is that whenever you take any construction item, similarly here also what happens that based on the specification of the material which is being used, so what happens that the rates they are going to vary. Rates they are going to vary. For example, if I take one construction example, I want to do flooring now, for example. So what happens is that if you want to do vitrified flooring, rates will be different. If you want to do granite flooring, it will be different. If you want to do marble flooring, rates will be different. Why? Because the material rates they are going to increase. Similarly, the labor rates also they are going to increase. Why? Because if you take any vitrified tiles and all, what happens that directly they will bring and they will fix it. But whereas if you see this what you can say granite or marble and all, they have to cut it. Then next they have to fix it. So therefore, what happens is that that rate will be extra. So similarly, what happens is that whenever the specification of material they are going to change, like you have different grades of concrete and all, right? So that time what happens is that different materials are required, different labors are required, right? So like you require some skilled laborers, some unskilled laborers, right? So their rates also vary. So based on that, what happens is that rates they are going to vary. These are the factors like first and second what I had said, right? So some works require more labor, right? So like if you take example of that flooring itself, vitrified, like within short time we can do more amount of work. If you go for granite, marble and all, so it takes more time, more laborers are required, more skilled persons are required, right? So rates they will charge, the rates which they are charging is higher, right? So next is what we have location of site of work, right? So where your site is located, right? Based on that also the rates they are going to change. For example, if your location is out of city, for example, if you take now in Bijapur, it is on the outskirts of the city, like 10 kilometers away from city, right? So daily what happens that laborers and all they have to visit, they have to come back daily and all. Their means of communication that they may think laborers and all, they will tell that for this we require extra and all. What is the distance? So for each and everything, like if you want to carry any materials also, availability of water, electricity, everything what happens that based on that we are going to send, based on that the rates they are going to change. These are some of the factors which affect the rates of the item. Then next is that availability of tools and plants and different equipments required for different operations. Right? So like different, like for example, if you go for high-rise construction and all, many machineries are required, right? So for ground floor, first floor and all, it may work out. But if you have 10-storied building, 20-storied building and all, so that time you require different machineries, like you may have RFC plant in your site itself. Then next you may have tower crane and all. So has to carry the material to the like different floors, right? So like here what they are doing in Bijapur, in that way it will not work out, right? So what all different equipments are being used, right? Based on that also the rates they are going to vary. Then next is profit and overhead expenses of the contractor, right? So based on what profit, what overhead expenses you are going to charge, based on that what happens that rates they are going to vary. These are some of the factors which are going to affect the rates of a particular item, right? Then next is there are some overhead costs. There are certain overhead costs. I said you regarding material rates and labor rates. So what happens is that some what you can say costs, they are not directly related to the item of work. They are indirectly related. So that we can call it as overhead cost, right? So that includes general office expenses. But for example, if you have any drawings and all, so as to take printouts of that drawings and all, you require certain offices and all, you require rent, you have to pay the rent, you have to pay the taxes and all, supervision charges you should pay, right? These are not directly related to the item of work, right? Previously I said that material and labor. So material and labor, they are directly related to that item of work. But these things, what happens that they are not directly related, but they are indirectly related, which is and not productive expenses on the job, right? So that we call it as overhead cost. Overhead cost. Again, these miscellaneous expenses on overhead may be classified into general overheads and job overheads. General overheads and job overheads. So in general overheads, what happens is that we require certain establishments. Like for example, if your site is very large, like many floors, many high-rise structures you have, many towers you have, that time what you do is that in the site itself we are going to construct certain temporary offices, right? So as to establish that, again you have to construct, again after completion you have to demolish or you have to remove that, what you can say, cabins and all, right? So for that establishment and all, you may charge extra. This will come under general overheads, right? So when you have like offices and all, you require certain office boy and all those people are required. Then next is you require certain stationery, printing, postage charges and all, right? Then next you require traveling expenses, telephone charges, rent, taxes, right? So this will come under general overheads. Then next comes is job overheads, right? So in job overheads, what happens is that like for supervision, you require like you have to pay the salary of engineers, you have to pay the salary for the supervisors, right? So if you go for high risk construction or in MNCs and all, or in any companies and all, what happens is that there is a sequence like you are going to have general manager we have project engineers, we have like again like assistant engineer, we have junior engineers, we have again under that like there will be certain supervisors and all. So all the supervision means all those people's salary has to be paid. So all those things will come under supervision charges. Then next is that handling of material, right? So as to take material from one place to another place and all for that also requires certain extra. Then next is that repair, carriage and depreciation of tools and plants, right? So whenever you are going to have certain machinery and all, you have to carry that material. After few days, you may have to, you should do repair of that, what you can say, engines and all. Like their depreciation cost is also added, right? That has to be added, right? So that will come under job overheads. Then next is that amenities of the labor. So generally, what happens that when you have like large constructions or high risk constructions and all, so these contractors and all, what they do, they are going to have within that area or nearby that, what they do, they are going to have certain labor colonies and all, right? For the labors, like labor requirement will be more like 100, 200, 300 labors will be required. So for them, what they do is that they are going to prepare one labor colony. You have to do the setup. Again, on day-to-day basis, you have to supply water, electricity. Certain basic amenities has to be provided to the laborers. Right? So all those things will come under what you can say job overheads. Then next is that whenever like as an engineer, when you are going to pass out and all, for you also they are going to have certain insurance, for laborers also like workman's compensation, insurance and all those things have to be provided. So all these things are not directly related to the item of work, these are indirectly related. So we call it as job overheads, or in general we can call it as overheads. For this we are going to add extra. Right? So I said you that already I had covered this. That is the rate analysis is being divided into two heads. That is, one is material and one is labor rates. Material rates we are going to calculate. Labor rates we are going to calculate. We are going to add up. The next is for tools and plants and for miscellaneous items we are going to add certain lump sum amount. The next is we are going to add water charges, 1.5 to 2% of the total cost, right? The next is that, for example, if you are doing concreting, we are going to charge. For example, if you are doing excavation, right? So there you don't require water. So that time we are going to remove. So wherever it is required, there we are going to charge the water charges. Then next is that 10% of contractors. Sum up all these amounts. We are going to sum up all these amounts. So then we are going to arrive at that rate, right? So that is what we call it as the rate analysis. Then next another term is task or outer work, right? Task or outer of work. That means the capacity of doing work, right? So when you take any labor and all, so within one day what happens is that he is going to do certain amount of work, right? So that we call it as task or outturn of work. It depends or it is going to vary based on the nature of work, what is the size, what is the height, situation, location, etc. Based on that, it is going to vary, right? So, for example, if you take that one labor within what you can say one day means like you take for example 7 hours, for example 7 hours or 8 hours, right? 8 hours a day. In 8 hours, how much work he can do? So that we call it as task or outturn of work. It will vary depending upon the situation, location and all. For example, now if you are working, if the laborers they are working on the ground floor, right? So easily like they don't have any problem. Easily they are going to do. For example, you imagine like they are doing on a 10th floor external plastering they are doing, for example, right? So they have to stand at that location and they have to do the work. They have to take all the safety precautions. In the mind, everyone will have that I may fall, something may happen and all. So due to that, what happens that their efficiency of working, it may reduce, it will reduce, right? So it may not remain same. What work they are doing on ground floor may not remain same on the 10th floor or 20th floor, right? So based on what, just I gave an example. So based on at what height they are working, at what situation, location, based on that what happens that their working capacity it is going to increase or decrease. So that we call it as outturn of work. So as to like prepare a rate analysis, you should know how much work one labor can do. For example, if you take this is one table which is showing the outturn or task of a labor per day, right? So, for example, if you take earthwork excavation in ordinary soil, so one per beldur or a beldar or mazdur, right? The one who is doing excavation, we call him as a beldar, right? So we can do like within one day we can do like 3 cubic meter of excavation, right? Similarly, if you have certain hard soil, so that time what happens is that the rate, like the amount of work which will be done will be reduced. If it is in rock, again it is going to reduce, right? This per beldar or mazdur, right? So in this way, what happens is that for different like work, sand filling, this brick work like this we have, brickwork in plinth, brickwork in superstructure, half brick wall. Again, for different like if you want to prepare a rate analysis, what happens is that you should know all these what you can say outer or task of the work. So if you know these things, then only you will come to know. So as to do this much amount of work, how many labors are required? How many labors are required? So for example, I am doing 10 cubic meter of excavation. That means how many labors are required? So one can do 3 cubic meters. So like minimum 3 are required. 3 means like they can do 9 cubic meters. We can take it as 4 numbers. Right? In that way what happens is that we can prepare the rate analysis. We can prepare the rate analysis. Right? The next is for painting and all. For painter like how much work he can do. Based on that what he can do, we are going to prepare the rate analysis. Right? The next is we'll go to certain calculation part. Right? So like what you do is like 1 cubic meter of Portland cement is equal to, if you take 1 cubic meter, that is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, so you are going to have 1440 kg of cement, right? But when we are working in actual practice, what we do, generally we count it in bags, like how many bags of cement is required, right? So one bag of cement also you know how much we have, so one bag of cement is equal to 50 kg, right? That also you know. So I want to calculate now. One bag of cement means how many cubic meters, right? So what I will do, you see here, 1 cubic meter of cement is equal to 1440 kg. 50 kg means how many cubic meters? If you cross multiply, I'll get the answer, right? One bag of cement, that is I'll take it as X, I will take this as X and cross multiply. Therefore 50 divided by 1440. So that will be equal to 0.03472 cubic meters. That means if you take one bag of cement, that will be equal to 0.03472 cubic meters, or sometimes we approximate it to 0.035 cubic meters. In some textbook they may use 0.034, in some they may use 0.035. Whichever you want, you can use. So what it indicates? This indicates that one bag of cement, that is 50 kg of cement, that is equal to 0.034 cubic meters of what you can say cement. Then next is that so why this is being calculated now, right? So when generally what happens that the quantity always it is being calculated in cubic meters, so that has to be converted to what you can say bags. Why? Because in actual practice we are procuring in terms of bags itself. So how many bags are required? So as to calculate that, this term is required. Further, this term I am going to use further while calculation, right? So there are certain general what you can say items. For that we will try to calculate. After that, what we can do, we can apply to the calculation part when we are doing the rate analysis. So I'll take certain what you can say cement concrete, right? So we have different proportions. We have different proportions like 148, 1510, 124, 11.53, 113 and all. That is M15, M20, M25 and all. These are the nominal mixes. These are the nominal mixes of the concrete. So if you have done what you can say concrete mix design and all, as per that also you can calculate. Procedure will remain same. Only you have to do the calculation. Right? So for example, now what I will do, I will take 10 cubic meters of concrete. 10 cubic meters of concrete. Right? So I will take mixed proportion, nominal mixed proportion of 1:2:4. So as to prepare like this M15 grade of concrete of 10 cubic meters, how much amount of cement is required, sand is required and aggregates are required. So that we will try to calculate. So what we do is that, so as to calculate that, what we do is that, for example now 10 cubic meter, this is nothing but the wet volume. So to this 10 cubic meters, what we do is that we are going to add certain extra amount. So why we are going to add extra means this is the wet volume, right? So for example, generally if you take one cement bag and you dump it, if you dump aggregate and sand, if you see that one lump is being formed, one big lump is being formed, right? So when you add water to that volume it is going to decrease or it is going to shrink and its volume will be less, right? So dry volume will be different, wet volume will be different. So therefore what we do, so this is nothing but 10 cubic meter is nothing but wet volume is required for us, right? So but in actual practice what you do when you are going to mix and all, we are mixing it like dry. Cement will be dry, aggregates and all, afterwards you are going to add the water, right? We require dry volume. So as to get the dry volume, what we do is that we are going to add 50 to 55% extra. 50 to 55% extra we add, that is 50% for shrinkage. If you are going to add 50% extra means like you are going to get the dry volume. Then next what we do, we are going to add 2 to 5% extra for wastage. 2 to 5% extra we are going to add. So then we are going to get the what you can say dry volume, right? So now if you want to calculate the cement, quantity now, how do you calculate now? 10 cubic meters is required. We'll try to calculate total how much wet volume is required. So to this 10 what I will do, I will add 52% extra, right? So 52% means I will multiply it by 1.52, right? 1.52, right? 10 multiplied by 1.52, so you are going to get it as 15.2 cubic meters, right? 50% for shrinkage and 2% for wastage. I have multiplied it by, like how you got this 15.2, once again I'll repeat, 10 cubic meter is required. I have to increase this for shrinkage as well as wastage. So we will multiply it 52% extra. I will multiply it by 1.52. 1 is nothing but 100%. That means 10 cubic meter volume is required. 0.52 is nothing but 52% extra. Right? So 10 multiplied by 1.52 if you do, you will get answer as 15.2. Therefore, this much dry volume of what you can say concrete is has to be prepared, right? This divided by the proportion, right? Any proportion it might be 148 or 124, 1510 or 1.53, right? So that proportion has to be divided, right? 4 plus 2 6 plus 1 7, 15.2 divided by 7, so that will be equal to 2.17 cubic meters. That means 2.17 cubic meters of cement is required. 2.17 cubic meter of cement is required, right? So when you are going to purchase the cement, you are not going to purchase in cubic meters. You are going to purchase in number of bags, right? So as to convert this cubic meter now, 1 cubic meter is equal to 1440 kg. Bag is nothing but 15 kg. So I want to convert it in bag. So therefore we have calculated this constant 0.035. So therefore 2.17 divided by 0.035 if you do, you are going to get the number of bags, right? So you are going to get it in bags. So this much cubic meter of cement is required. So 62 bags of cement is required. So now when you go to the shop, you can tell them that you give 62 bags of cement, right? So how we have converted? Divided by this constant. How we have calculated this constant? Here already I had explained earlier, right? So this is nothing but the cement calculation. Then next is I want to calculate now sand. I want to calculate sand. How do you calculate sand now? Sand will be equal to 2.17 multiplied by this proportion. Our proportion is what? 1 is to 2 is to 4, right? One part of cement we have. Twice of that is what you can say sand. 4 times of that is aggregate, right? So 2.17 multiplied by 2 if you do, right? So 2.17 multiplied by 2 if you do, it will be 4.34. That means 4.34 cubic meters of sand is required. Then next is if you multiply it by 4, right? One part of cement means 4 parts of aggregates are required, right? That means 4 times. So therefore 2.17 multiplied by 4 if you do, you will get answer as 8.68. 8.68 cubic meters of post aggregates are required. Sand is 4.34 cubic meters and cement is 2.17 cubic meters. In bag if you see it is 62 bags, right? So in this way what you can do calculation for all like M10, 15, 20, 25 grade of concrete. So these are for nominal mixes, you remember these are the nominal mixes. If you have done any mixed proportion and all, based on that you are going to get this proportion. These proportions may vary based on the materials, already everything you have studied in concrete mixes, and based on that it is going to vary. Based on that what you can do the calculation. Based on that you can do the calculation. So any calculation you take now, right? For example, I want to do calculation for this 1.53 now. How we are going to calculate now? Very simple. Instead of this 1, 2, 4, we have to put 1 plus 1.5 plus 3. Only this is going to change. Everything will remain same. So 15.2 divided by this 3 plus 1, 4, 5.5. So 15.2 divided by 5.5, you will get the answer. That multiplied by 1.5 if you do, you will get 4.4. Multiplied by 3 if you do, you will get 8.28. 2.76, 4.14, 8.28. Therefore what you can do, you can remember these values. It would be better if you remember the concept. It is better if you remember the concept. So this calculations what I am telling on day-to-day basis, on regular basis, when you are going to work inside, daily these calculations are required. So for example now you have become an engineer now, you want to do casting of a slab. So you have to calculate what is the volume of concreting that has to be done. Already in the earlier classes, in the estimation classes, we have calculated the concrete like slab quantity we have calculated, column, footing separately we have calculated now, correct? So what will be the volume that has to be calculated? That has to be calculated. So for example here I have taken it as 10 cubic meters. So if you calculate, you got for example 20 cubic meters, for example 20 cubic meter of concreting has to be done. So therefore here 20 multiplied by 1.52, 52% extra divided by the proportion, right? So you have to do this and you should tell the labor, or before the construction work, before the start of the work, you should procure that material and all that material has to be present in the site. So whenever you are going to work in the site and all, so you should not have any shortage, right? For that purpose, on day-to-day basis, if you are going to become site engineer or anywhere when you go, so this calculation is required. It is very essential, right? So in many interviews and all, in this way they will tell you to calculate how much material is required. You calculate and tell. So in that what happens that only you have to calculate the volume divided by proportion. Only this much you do, you will get the answer. You have to calculate cement, sand, aggregate. In this way what you can do calculation and you can tell them, right? So in this way what happens that for concrete you have to do the calculation. In the exams also sometimes they say M15 grade of concrete. they say M20 grade of concrete. Only this proportion will change. Other things will remain same. In that way, you have to do the calculations. Any doubts you have? If you have any